We'll create another column wrapper for posts. You don't have to get the column structure right to begin with. You can always add in a column wrapper or remove without much trouble using the copy, clone, or move post and column options. This time we'll create a text post and a carousel post. For our text post, we'll set the width using the alternative width units to a max width 70%. So that text will break to 2 lines on narrower view screens instead of filling up the whole width. I'm going to change the float option from center row, which occupies the whole row, to center float, which is an inline block display. We'll also give it the fade this using a top sliding motion with a slide distance of 10 px and an offset negative 40 px due to the narrow height of this text post. Then under the styling options, a padding top 80 px, paprika font family, we'll give it a scaling px font size. We'll start at 30 px. We'll set an upper viewport width of 2000, a lower viewport width of 410. Linear mod percent we'll set at 44, so that the rate of scaling slows and we end up having a relatively larger font size at the mobile widths. We're going to text align center. We'll give it a white font color. Black border bottom. We're also going to paste in the text. We'll go ahead and click the publish box on these 2 posts so they appear in the web page mode. So here's a carousel post that we're going to set up. And for this post, we'll set a 92% width. Now under this option for style the images, we can set styles on the images directly. We're going to set a background color. That'll appear as the divider between the different images, a greenish color. Then under the styling options, we could give it a padding left and right, 1.5% if we wish. This helps in particular if we're using the previous and next slide controls. Now this uses the Ken Wheeler Slick project. We're going to go ahead and configure that. Here we can configure initial settings for the carousel post. We're going to leave a lot of default options here. 8 images to show at very large view screen sizes, and then scroll 4 images for each scroll. We're going to check the show arrows off. We're going to check the autoplay, leave that on. We'll leave the auto scroll at 2 seconds. Here we can put in a prev next arrow color, but we're not using it. And here we have 7 media queries where we can tweak the settings depending upon the viewer's view screen size. We're going to use most of these defaults, such as slides to show, slides to scroll. We'll leave the dots. We're going to turn off the arrows. We're going to turn on autoplay for all the media settings. We'll leave off center mode. We'll leave off fade at all except the 1 image per row. That'll create a 1 slide at a time fading transition instead of a multiple slide transition. And this unslick option will shut it off. And by changing the default media queries, we can tweak the settings at whatever viewports that we want. So we can hit submit on that. Here we go through the image uploading operation. We're showing a couple images uploaded, but there'll be a bunch more. We're going to give the primary column a gray background. To see the post that we just created, we'll submit that. And we're also going to make a copy of the text post. We have another post that uses the same settings and stylings, so we're just going to copy it. The other option is we can clone it. The difference being with cloning, when we change the original, the clone will update any styles, content, or configurations that we change, although there is an option to selectively change content only or styles and configurations only. Then after the carousel, we choose a new post option, and we'll choose the copy, move, clone, post option. We hit submit. For this particular post, we'll go ahead and copy it. And here we're going to put in P15, the ID of the post to copy. So we hit submit. There are specific videos on cloning process being used in different ways. We're going to refresh the styles for the new post. Okay, there it is, an exact duplicate. It has its own post ID number. We'll click into it and we'll change the text. And we're going to put in our entrees, submit. Okay, there are the new posts that we made. Now at the full view screen size, we see that the carousel is holding a lot of images. The images are transitioning pretty fastly. We could slow the rate at which the carousel changes images up in the carousel options. As we narrow the view screen size, we view less images. The way we set it up, it consistently keeps the images at about the same size. It just narrows the number of images that the carousel is showing per row. But we can set it up any way that we want. As we get down to mobile size, we see 2 and then 1 per row. The next bit, I'm going to quickly show how we can use orientation to load a different background image.